Karen yelled at a black man for speaking Arabic. He's an FBI cybercrime expert. Part 1. It happened in a quiet, upper-middle-class grocery store in the heart of Brookhaven, a neighborhood where smiles were tight, shoes were clean, and different usually meant dangerous. Karen Whitmore, 56, was the kind of woman who believed in appearances. Her honey blonde bob was always freshly styled. Her yoga pants matched her designer tote. And she never went out without her faith over fear tumbler and a knowing smirk that said, "I've seen the worst of the world, and it always confirms I was right." That day, she was in the organic section, picking overpriced kale, when she heard it. A voice, deep, confident, foreign. A man in a clean gray hoodie and dark jeans was standing a few feet away, holding his phone and speaking in Arabic. He was tall, fit, black, with a close-shaved head and quiet intensity in his eyes. His tone was calm, almost soothing, but that didn't matter to Karen. The language triggered her like a switch. She froze, then stormed over. "This is America," she snapped. "If you want to talk like that, do it at home." The man blinked, stunned. "Excuse me." Karen's voice rose. "We don't need people like you scaring others, speaking terrorist talk." He looked around. A couple near the almond milk display stepped back. A clerk dropped a lemon. "I was talking to my mother," the man said evenly. "She lives in Jordan. We speak Arabic." Karen wasn't interested in explanations. Her voice got shrill. "Well, I don't feel safe. You could be planning something." The man exhaled slowly as if steadying himself. "I'm not planning anything except dinner. Please leave me alone." But Karen wasn't finished. "I'm calling the police." And she did. The video was filmed by a teenage employee behind the juice bar. It captured everything: her anger, his restraint, the language she used, and the quiet dignity with which he walked away. Within hours, it was everywhere. Part 2. The internet did what it always does. The video hit 1 million views by morning, then 5, then 10. The hashtags Riyashar speaking Arabic, while black, and Karen Whitmore trended nationally. She yelled at a man for talking to his mother. Imagine being bilingual, respectful, and still treated like a threat. He handled it like a king. She handled it like a meme. But then the twist came. The man in the video, his name was Dr. Samir Daniels. And he wasn't just any man. He was an FBI cybersecurity expert, leading task forces and cracking down on billion-dollar internet fraud networks. He just testified before Congress. He was fluent in 5 languages, had a PhD in cryptography, and had stopped a foreign hacking ring that targeted elderly Americans. He'd received a medal from the Department of Justice. He was quite literally one of the reasons the country was safe, and Karen had screamed in his face for speaking to his own mother. News outlets picked it up. CNN, The Washington Post, even conservative networks couldn't ignore the twist. Woman yells at black Arabic speaker. He's an FBI hero. The backlash was immediate. Karen's Facebook was flooded with angry comments. Her book club revoked her invite. Her church asked her to step down from greeting duties. But that wasn't the worst part. Her son Ethan, 26, a recent college grad, called her crying. "Mom, I'm job hunting. This is everywhere. People are connecting me to this. You humiliated me." That stung more than any headline. Part 3. Karen didn't sleep for 3 days. She watched the video of herself over and over. Her voice, the pitch, the hatred, it didn't sound like her. But it was her. She couldn't deny it. She thought about Samir, his calm, his dignity, how he didn't fight back, how he could have made a scene, but didn't. She reached out to the grocery store, asked for a contact. They gave her a name, an office address. 2 weeks later, she was standing in front of a secured government building, shaking. She had written a letter, rewritten it a dozen times. The receptionist buzzed her in. A few minutes later, the man from the grocery store entered the lobby, now in a crisp suit and ID badge clipped to his pocket. He looked just as powerful as she remembered. She stood up quickly. "Dr. Daniels, thank you for agreeing to see me." He nodded slowly. "I don't usually meet with people like this, but I believe in second chances." She handed him the letter with trembling hands. "I said awful things. I judged you. I humiliated myself, but more importantly, I disrespected you. Not just as a person, but as a son, as a citizen, as someone doing real good. Samir read the letter silently. I've spent my whole life thinking I was the good guy, she said, voice cracking. But that day I was the villain, and I'm sorry. He looked up. You were scared, he said, but fear isn't an excuse for hate. It never was. I know, Karen whispered, and I want to do better. I will do better. Part 4. 3 days after her private apology, Karen was invited to appear on a local talk show, Real Change. The host, Maya Leal, was a former civil rights attorney known for holding people accountable while also giving space for growth. The invitation read, "We believe healing starts with honest conversations. You said you want to change. Let's begin." Karen almost said no, but something in her heart said she needed to face it. Not to save face, but to show she meant it. The show was filmed live. The studio lights were warm and sharp. Karen sat stiffly, hands folded, while Maya welcomed viewers. Today, Maya said, we speak with Karen Whitmore. You've seen the viral video, you know the headlines, but now we talk about what comes after the outrage. They played the clip, unedited. Karen's voice shouting, Samir's calm reply, the phone call, the stares. The audience was dead silent. Then Maya turned to Karen. What were you thinking in that moment? Karen looked down. Honestly, I wasn't. I was reacting out of ignorance, fear, and arrogance. I thought I was protecting people, but all I did was expose the ugliest parts of myself. Maya nodded slowly. Why are you here? Karen's voice cracked. Because I want to be better. And because the man I treated like a threat showed me what real strength looks like. And I'll never forget that. The audience, still skeptical, listened. And then Maya turned to the surprise guest. Dr. Samir Daniels walked onto the stage. The crowd gasped. Karen stood instinctively. Her hands trembled. Samir extended his. She took it. He turned to the camera. Let's be clear, he said. Prejudice is not a misunderstanding. It's a sickness. But calling it out is not enough. We must heal it. That starts with education, accountability, and empathy. He paused, then added, Karen and I had a hard conversation. Now we're having a public one. I don't hate her. I hate the assumptions that made that moment possible. The crowd applauded. A few stood. And Karen, she wept. Part 5. In the weeks that followed, Karen didn't retreat back into silence. She showed up. She joined a local coalition for cultural education and racial equity. She took workshops on unconscious bias. She helped fund a scholarship for bilingual students pursuing cybersecurity. She even invited Samir to speak at her old church. When he walked in, wearing his FBI badge and speaking softly in Arabic before switching to English, the silence in the pews was deafening. But he had them by the end. Language is not the threat, he said. Ignorance is. Karen spoke last. I once thought people like me were the solution, she said. Now I know. We're part of the problem unless we choose to grow. Afterward, a teenage girl approached her. Arab American, shy. Thank you, the girl whispered. People treat me like I'm scary when I speak Arabic. But now, I feel seen. Karen knelt and held her hand. Don't ever stop speaking your truth, sweetheart. Ever. Months later, Karen started a community blog, Unlearning Myself. The first post read, I once silenced a man for speaking the language of his family. Now I spend my days trying to amplify voices like his. I can't erase the moment, but I can live in a way that proves it taught me something. Because being wrong isn't the end. Staying wrong is. It went viral, and Samir, he kept doing what he always did, protecting people in silence, working behind screens, tracking cybercriminals. But he carried something new with him now, a letter from Karen folded in his wallet. It reminded him that even in a broken world, people could change, and that sometimes the greatest firewall wasn't a program. It was grace. The end.